I'm not the one who made this. I'm Nathan Harland. I'll be presenting for Micah Hayes tonight since he is currently unable to. So I will be using note cards as I don't really know the research too well myself. He asked to pass out these handouts. Would anyone like them? So his research was on the school to prison pipeline program, but more importantly, how the role school resource officers play in the program. In this presentation on the slideshow, you'll see SRO. That just stands for Student Resource Officer. So is the presence of school resources officers in school simply to protect students and help youth with disciplinary issues, or do student resource officers exacerbate the pipeline program? Before we answer that question, let's address a few different questions. What is the school to prison pipeline program? I did not know what this was. So it's the practice of excluding children from schools, funneling them into the juvenile justice system for small infractions. And when we mean small infractions, we mean harmless class disruptions, childlike behavior, and this leads to suspension, expulsion, and arrests sometimes. Another term we'll be using in this presentation is exclusionary discipline. This is consequences in school which lead to systematic exclusion, notably with minorities and disabled children, or with children with disabilities. What role do SROs play in school discipline? Student resource officers are supposed to play the role of safety, but also mentors, role models, and teachers for the students. What are zero tolerance policies? Those are harsh disciplinary procedures that enforce ridiculous punishments or arrests for what in the past schools would take care of by themselves. And he made a comparison where zero tolerance to the prison pipeline is like the war on drugs to mass incarceration. And this leads us to the question, should police be present in schools? So why is this a problem? And let's try and understand how this came into existence. In the 1990s, youth violence increased, and it peaked up in 1994. So it peaked up in 1994, and in response, the US created the Safe Schools Act of 1994, which was designed, and this added in the zero tolerance policy and the student resource officers. As well as this, many schools started employing metal detectors, surveillance cameras, drug dogs, that kind of stuff. And one common myth is the use of police in schools is due to an increase in violence. Violence in America has been on a steady decline since the mid-90s, only the fear of mass shooting has encouraged people to want to keep student resource officers. In many cases, the presence of police in schools has not de-escalated the violence, but instead increased violence with the use of force against students. Unfortunately, exclusionary discipline enforced by student resource officers has since been on the rise, and arrests on school grounds have increased rapidly, fueling the pipeline program. So here's a simple formula he devised that I believe many scholars and academics would agree with, where minor misbehaviors by students plus school resource officers and zero tolerance policies equals the school to prison pipeline. To show this formula in action, in 2010 to 2011, over 16,000 students were referred to the juvenile justice system in Florida alone. From 2004 to 2009, the LAPD got over 83,000 referrals for student resource officers. And nationwide in 2015 and 2016, 82,800 students with mental disabilities were arrested. I want to emphasize again that disciplinary tactics used to fuel the pipeline are seriously discriminatory against minorities, particularly in low-income areas, and with students with disabilities. A 13-year-old was handcuffed for writing on a desk. A 5-year-old was arrested for throwing a temper tantrum. I think there's more. Items such as aspirin have been considered drugs, and paper clips can be considered weapons in some schools. Elementary students expelled or arrested for pointing their fingers at someone in the shape of a gun, farting in class, and bringing a cake knife to school for their birthday. Even wearing the wrong colored shoes sometimes. This is completely unacceptable to treat kids like this. So how can we disrupt the school to prison pipeline? We believe that in the meantime, while other measures to reduce the pipeline are created, student resource officers should be involved in extensive specialized training, such as learning to understand youth through empathetic listening, proficiency in de-escalation measures, advanced public relations classes, continued sensitivity training about minorities, impoverished children, students with disabilities, etc. Because if they're going to be on a campus, a teacher has to go through classes on how to be trained properly with kids, so why shouldn't they? I believe that is the end. Thank you.